Hare Krishna everyone. So I didn't want to get stuck here. It wasn't my plan to not come to Australia. It wasn't my plan to be here in Russia. It's actually all their fault. So these are the deities here. Their names are Gauranga and Nityananda, as Mukunda Maharaj named them. They were installed in 2011 and they're the bosses of this place here, this community. And right now we're in the temple room, which is the center of the community that I'm staying in. You can have a look around here. Here's Srila Prabhupada. And we have actual clay mridangas here. Jai. We also have Pushpa Samadhis here, 2 of them. One is of Indra Prabhu. He was really close to the devotees who started this community, and he was a big inspiration to them, especially in Kirtan. And in this thing here, in this Pushpa Samadhi, we have, well, the flowers obviously from his garland, as well as his kartals, and I think a toothbrush, and we also have like his socks. And another Samadhi here is a Samadhi of Purnachandra Maharaj, who was actually the reason that this community started. Purnachandra Maharaj was one of the sannyasi disciples of Srila Prabhupada, and from America, and he spent a lot of his time preaching in Russia from about 1993 until his departure. So back in the early 2000s, Medinipati Prabhu, who is a disciple of Mukunda Maharaj, was leading home programs and preaching through them and teaching a course that he developed called Yoga as It Is, that was targeted at attracting new people through teaching, through him teaching the Bhagavad Gita philosophy. And a lot of new people would join through that. My parents joined through that course as well in 2007, and so that's how it went. And over the not so many years, the group developed from about 10 people to 1,000 something of the devotees that joined actually through his preaching. So it was Purnachandra Maharaj's desire for a very long time to start a community, and he was very determined that it would be him and Medinipati that would actually start up this community here together with a lot of these devotees here in Sochi, which is Sochi is the southest part of Russia, and so therefore, because it's the warmest here, the climate is the nicest, they decided that it's the nicest place to have a community. Unfortunately, he suddenly departed this world on November 4th of the year 2010, and the responsibility all fell on the shoulders of Medinipati. And so in 2010, later on, him, Gauri, and a few other devotees, they moved down here, and because they already had the land that Purnachandra Maharaj chose, they started the work. So I'm just going to give you a little tour of the ashram here. So this is the deity kitchen here. That's where we cook for the deities, and that's like kind of the small pujari room where we keep the deities' clothes and paraphernalia. And this is the kitchen, another kitchen for the devotees. And then we go down here. So over here there's a few different rooms where devotees live, like those who live in the ashram, and that's a little office. Like devotees from the community, they come here to work because they'll have babies. And here we have a third kitchen, because 2 kitchens is not enough.
Hare Krishna!
That's where we eat, and lunch usually goes for about 3 hours. And so then we're going outside. That's the gate where we enter. And so this is the first house that was actually built here. So when Medei Pati and a few devotees just moved here, so about 3 of them built this little house within a month. And then later on they built that guest house, which is an ashram where the devotees stay as well. There's about 6 rooms there. And then the temple building came later on. And right now, just recently, like in this July or something, they started building this little house, which is a separate building for the samadhis. So the samadhis of Indra Prabhu and Purnachandra Goswami will actually be in here. Just like in temples, usually the samadhis are separate from the actual temple, so here we're gonna have that as well. And yeah. And so that's kind of like what it kind of grew to be from them building that little house first. So then they built this whole temple area. So in this temple area, it's only the ashram devotees living, and as well as the temple president and a few other devotees. But most of the community devotees, they actually live in the village around here in Balaramovka. They bought their own land, and so they all live there because they're like made up of families mainly. And most of these families have kids. And part of what Purnachandra Maharaj actually wanted for this project is that they have a Gurukul here. And so just recently most of the boys, it's mainly boys in this community, grew up to be, of a school age. And so just this year in about July they started the Gurukul. So they don't have a building yet, and they got the land and they're gonna build it, but this is what the Gurukul looks like right now. There's only about 7 or 8 boys here. It's just a boys Gurukul, and so that's what's happening. In this temple, there's just the usual morning program here, just usual temple program. We have Mangalati, japa, greeting, class, and so on, and usual temple services as well. So we cook for the deities, make garlands, cleaning, and this and that. And we also have a garden here, and in this garden we grow a lot of flowers for the deities. I'm going to show them soon. And we also have some fruits and nuts growing here also. And there was also a playground here for the kids, which is like kind of where they hang out during the programs. And in this garden we have lots of flowers, which you can't really see at the moment, but there's lots of roses and chrysanthemums or whatever they're called, lavender, and just a lot of flowers. And in the greenhouse also lots of flowers, which is really useful for garlands. Also around the territory here we kind of have a lot of fruit trees. So there is fig trees, apple trees, persimmons. There is hazelnut as well, which is not a fruit, but there is hazelnuts also. And feijoa, I don't know what feijoa is, but it's also here. So because Medipati Prabhu is the leader of this community here, and his main engagement is preaching through different courses and classes and lectures and so on, most of the community here is also engaged in that preaching work in one way or another, either by assisting him or by running the Yoga as It Is course on their own as well.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare